Hello, hello, my beautiful friends. So, I was sitting here and was like, gosh, I need to pop into my group and shed some love and just lift some energy up and lift some people up. And I was like, what do I need to talk about? And then the thought of like being authentically you and what that looks like and how that even, like, how do we do that? So, oh my gosh. If you haven't ever smelled rose, like from this bottle, it's amazing. It lifts the energy right away. Hey, Jen. Love you, girl. Thanks for hopping on. So, okay, being authentically you, right? So, when we're first thinking about all of our goals, and hey, Tracy, and what it is that we want to be doing, right? So, so often we can pop into our ideas. Oh, I want this or this or this, Oh, I want the house, I want the car, I want, you know, whatever it is. But we don't really connect with those things because that's what we think we should want, or what maybe others have put onto us that we should want, right? And so we take it on as our own goals or dreams or whatever without like really connecting with it, right? With really connecting with, okay, who am I and what do I really want? What would I really love, right? Because getting to know that true self, it's so powerful. And when I because I've made lots of dream boards and I've made lots of like 50 plus lists, and it's funny because as I'm like creating this vision and this dream, then so many times I'm like, huh, that's interesting. I don't really like connect with that anymore as I get to know who I am and what my desires really are. And then there's other things that like pop up, like I'll notice, all my intuition like brings them to my attention all the time, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, I really do love that, right? And it's totally out of left field, something I never would have thought about before. But like this new awareness, new connection of myself being genuinely me, instead of, not what my husband thinks I should be, not what my mom and dad think I should be, not what my kids even think I should be, but what I want to be, right? Being genuinely you, and being okay with every single one of those desires. That's so powerful. And when you really connect with that, then that is like that driving force that shifts things out of your way, right? Yes. So, and then also like I put into the group today, like, what is holding you back from your dreams? Or I can't remember how I worded it, but that was the question. Like, what's holding you back in your life? And recognizing that like we have to claim responsibility for ourselves and for everything, right? So we may see other things or other people, or whatever it may be, as being that thing that's standing in our way. But ultimately, we gave them permission, we gave them that power, right? So I was just in a training with Bob, and it was spoken that, if I don't sell someone when I'm speaking to them, it was a sales training, um, I'm just not good enough, right? I didn't do my job. And like taking that responsibility, right? So if something isn't happening, isn't going in your life, like the first thing you got to do is like you got to own that, right? You got to full on take responsibility for that, and being like, okay, and then work through the layers. Am I, you know, hiding, allowing this thing this person, to take that responsibility, or am I taking that responsibility? Right? Because we are the creator of our own reality. And so, and then you have to also think like, do I really want this thing? Right? Because when you're in connection with what it is that you want, then everything flows, right? You're on that higher vibration, that higher connection, and it's just easy. It's just easy, right? So, and we allow those, like, whatever's standing in the way to, either we pivot, or we, you know, the universe just kind of drops those things and allows it to be easy. Because I think we have such a pattern, such a programming that I I've heard it from my own mouth, speaking to my kids. Oh, daddy's still at work. He works really hard, he'll be home later. And I'm like, oh man, I'm programming in my kids that like work has to be hard, right? And we program that we have to spend a lot of time at work, right? Like that doesn't have to be the case. Do we want our kids to have to believe that you have to work really hard and you have to work a lot of hours to be successful? I sure as heck don't. I want my kids to like live that amazing life, and yes, like put forth the effort and the actions and the energy, but I also want them to know that it can be with ease, right? And so we have to change how we're thinking. Okay, so this thing is blocking me, and realizing the whole time that really it's us. Why am I allowing this to block me? Well, is this really the path that I'm meant to take, or do I need to pivot? Do I need to rethink something? Is, like just changing that focus a little bit, like a telescope when you're looking out into the stars, and like you have to adjust the focus a little. We have to change the perception. And so that's when we come back to, okay, being genuinely, authentically me. What does that mean? And who am I? And what do I really want? And this is why I like get on these goal clarifying calls, and like really help you to focus on what that is, right? And it'll drop away all the hesitations, and lots of people, most people are like limit themselves, right? And that's not, we don't want to be limited. When I give my kids some ice cream and I'm like, here you go, you can have it. Okay, but you can only have half, right? And I've done that before, and my kids are like, oh, why? Right? And then they have a fit, but then I do that enough, and then they learn that they can only have half, right? And then they get used to that, and that's what we've done with ourselves, right? We've been like, no, I can't have it all, I can't have it all, I can't have everything I want. I need to adapt to having, you know this is my life, or not. We don't live like that, whatever that is. And then we create this story that that's the life that we live, right? But that's not what we want anymore. That's why you're here in this community. You attracted this. You were here in this space to learn how to think beyond that, and to step out of those walls, those barriers. And so I want to just awaken in you the thought of, okay, who am I when I am being authentically me? And what do I really want? Okay. And then also see where walls are in your life. Recognize that it's you that has, thought those walls up, because I guarantee when you change your thinking about, like, even you have so much power in your mind. When you change your thinking about what someone's response is going to be, or what that energy between you is going to be, it totally shifts. I mean, I've had this before where um, I was on a trip. My husband was home with the kids. Like the whole time I was like, oh my gosh, he's pissed at me. He's gonna be really upset. And like the whole time, like that was the reality because that's what I was thinking. And then before I went home, I was like, you know what? The welcoming is gonna be amazing. And I changed the complete picture in my mind, even though like the whole time I was gone, it was something completely different. And when I got home, like I did that internal work and I changed that perception, I changed that thought. The whole communication, the energy between us was totally different, right? And so, whether it's a thing or it's a person or whatever, is standing between you and where you want to go, it starts with you. You got to change how you're thinking about it and change the energy there and like just get really authentically connected to who you are, what you want, and reclaim the power in your creation of that. So I don't know if this makes sense. Does this make sense? I just I've seen the power there, and every single one of us has it. We just aren't tapping into it necessarily. But it really comes back to really getting connected to you and who you are and what you are creating. Okay, totally makes sense. Cool. So, yeah. And and I think a way to find clarity, because lots of people, we don't necessarily know who we are, right? But the great thing is that we get to freaking create it. So, and that's why this Write Her, Become Her workshop, some of you have gone through it and some of you have said that you would, and it didn't, things happened. But that's why this workshop is so, so powerful because you get to reclaim your life and how it looks, how you show up, and literally transform everything around you, your relationships, how you communicate, um, the energy between you and other people, and you raise your frequency and then you align with so many amazing things, but it all starts with you and how you think. And so if you haven't already registered, then I'm going to encourage you to register. And if you've already gone through the class, do it again. It's going to be completely different. You are a completely different person than the last time we had this class, and you are going to grow and find so much more things within you than you did before, right? And like I said, some of those things that you may have written down before are going to shift because you're, stepping into that higher version of yourself. So the class is the week of May 17th, and go ahead, put it in your calendar. And it's it's a really powerful way to just reclaim your power and create that life and step into your power and to gain clarity, right? Because we're always growing, we're always expanding, we're always becoming a greater version of ourselves. And so this is not something that you do once, you're doing it constantly, you're doing it over and over and over, and continuing to peel off the layers. Or I like to think of ourselves as a garden. You're sifting away all this much and clay and all that stuff so that that beautiful inner self can just blossom out. And she's coming out all the time, but we just need to like clear away the the muck and the mire, right? All the fear, doubts, and worries, and all those things that we put on ourselves that are holding you back. And so, like I said, I'll put the link in the comments to go ahead and register for the class, but do just really work on getting connected with who you are and what you really want. And then recognizing that if something isn't the way that you want it to be, you can shift it just by shifting the way that you're thinking about it. All right. Thank you so much for hopping on. I am so grateful for your time and and for sharing this space with me. And I look forward to supporting you in any part of your journey. If you would like to hop on a clarity goal clarifying call, then just shoot me a message and we can get that scheduled. If we've had one before and you would like to you know, gain a little more clarity, then just let me know. All right. Love and light, my friends. Expect abundance, and we will talk to you soon.